Do I have thyroid cancer? Watch the video and find out. Hey everyone, welcome to Miami Life and Fitness. If you're new here, then welcome to my channel about fitness, anabolics, training, and eating, and coaching. And if you are back, then thank you so much for your support, and I very much appreciate each and every one of you. So, in this video, we're going to talk about, do I have thyroid cancer? What's been going on with my thyroid? What's been going on with that lump that I had in my neck? And all of this process that I have been through since probably the beginning of the year. So, there has been a few of you that have noticed that on my right side, which is here on this side, I had a lump in my neck for at least maybe about a year and a half that was actually visible to the naked eye. It wasn't really that big, of course, on the outside, but in the inside it was fairly big. It was like between 6 and 7 centimeters on the inside. It was quite large. But for those of you that did notice, yes, there was a mass growing inside my right thyroid. So I kind of just let it slide because it wasn't bothering me. It wasn't hurting me. It didn't bother me to swallow, to eat food. It wasn't harming me in any negative way. But when my uncle saw it, who's a physician, back at the end of October, he said, you really need to get that checked out because I can see there's a big lump in there. And of course he notices immediately because that's what he does. So being in internal medicine. So he's like, you have to go check it out. And I remember, you know, my boyfriend had always said for the past 2 years, you know, you need to go check it out, you need to check it out. And I just really never did because it wasn't really bothering me. But now that my uncle said that, I said, you know what, I really do need to go get it checked out. So I went and got it checked out. And they did a sonogram back in the beginning of January. That's just when I started the whole process. And they basically said how large it was. There was a mass growing in there, and that the next step would obviously be to get something called an FNP at the hospital, which is basically a biopsy. It's a fine needle assessment where they poke a needle several times in your neck to pull out cells from that mass so that they can do the biopsy to see if it's cancerous or not. Now, I wasn't worried about this before. I wasn't worried about it then, and I haven't been worried about this all this time since January. Why? Fairly easy. Cancer doesn't run in my family. No one has died of cancer in my family, and I'm physically fit. I don't have high estrogen. I don't eat I don't eat any processed foods or foods that are super high in sugar. I don't do fake sugars. I try not to eat red meat. I haven't eaten red meat in a very long time. I started incorporating a burger every now and then, but whatever. So I don't, and I don't take huge excessive amounts of growth hormone, which is also a growth which can make everything inside you grow. For those of you that know about growth hormone, that's what it does. That's why it's recommended for you to take very low doses of what you need and not abusive doses or exceed a normal dose. So I wasn't really worried about it because I don't have things in my body that would have made it to be a cancer or made it be cancerous. But nonetheless, it is still something that should concern someone. I wasn't really concerned about it at all because I already knew that it was going to be benign, and I already knew that it wasn't going to be cancerous. So the next step in February, at the end of February, was I finally got an appointment to the hospital here in Miami, and they did the needle assessment where they poked my neck maybe like 8 to 10 times to pull out cells inside that little mass, and then they send it off to pathology to see if it's cancerous or not. So then you wait about 7 to 10 days for the results, and when the results came back, then you have a meeting with an endocrinologist or a thyroid surgeon, and then they go over with you what it is, and then what are they going to do about it, and what they recommend for you to do about that, whether it's cancerous or not. So when I got the results back and I visited the thyroid surgeon here, who is just exceptional, she's just phenomenal, and she said the mass is benign. It's not cancer. It's just something growing in there, you know, and it had been growing for maybe the past 3 years or so. Maybe even before, because at first it was so small that you can't really notice it. So I don't know if it's 3 years, it could have been 4 years, I don't know exactly. But what I want to get out to you is, this is the whole point of the video, is that you really never know what can happen with anything in your body, whether you're on a cycle or not. I'm not just talking about people that do cycles or people that take peptides. This can happen to anybody. A cancer can grow in anybody's body. And even though a cancer wasn't growing inside me, if you are prone to cancer or predisposed to cancer, and if cancer runs in your family, or you do have high estrogen, or you're abusing peptides, and you're abusing growth, and or abusing IGF, which is a fast pulsating peptide, you are more at a very high risk, at a higher risk of creating cancers and letting those cancer cells multiply and grow, and thus creating a cancerous mass. So nonetheless, the thyroid surgeon did suggest that the best thing to do, because it's going to continue to grow, is to take it out. At that point, because the mass was growing inside my right thyroid, she said that it's best that we just remove the whole entire right thyroid. So then we set up a surgery date. I had my labs run at the end of April. And then, actually I had my labs done twice. So what happened was, my labs were done and my red blood cells were 1 point over. They were like 5.85, and then my hemoglobin was 1 point over, and then the hematocrit was a couple points over. So they decided to let me do my labs again. So I waited 2 weeks. In these 2 weeks, just so you know, this is what I did, because everything went down 1 complete point in 2 weeks. This is how I did it. This is how I did it. They wanted to see the blood not as thick, but they already know, my PCP knows, and the thyroid surgeon knows that I'm on hormonal therapy, that I do take anabolics, that I am into fitness, that I am a bodybuilder, and they know that I like to keep my physique, and they do know that I'm on anabolics, and I have no shame in telling anyone, even if it's a complete stranger, that I take anabolics, because I am proud of myself, proud of my body, I'm proud of what I've become, and proud of the work that I've put into. I have no shame in telling anyone that I use anabolics. That's right. So within those 2 weeks, I stopped injecting MPP. I drank a lot more water. The cardio stayed the same, because I do walk a lot with my dog, so I walk about 3 to 4 miles a day anyway. So the cardio was check, a lot more water, check, stopped the MPP, check, and I started taking 1 aspirin a day, and I did it for about, I want to say 10 to 12 days, whatever it was, up until the day of the lab work. And sure enough, the whole RBC went down from like a 5.8 to a 5.2. The hemoglobin went down from, I think it was like a 17 to a 16, or 16.9 to 15.9 or something, but it was basically a whole point, and the hematocrit went down a few points. So I got that done. And so they got my labs done again, and even though they had said we're gonna do this, the surgery is gonna move forward anyway, we just want to see your lab work a little bit better. So I did that, and in a matter of 2 weeks, all that result shifted. And normally it takes a month or two to even get a result different in your lab work, but I did it in 2 weeks. Miraculously. I just had my surgery last week, Thursday. Today is Tuesday, so I'm finally able, since yesterday, to talk again, because even though my throat is still sore and it does hurt just a little bit now to talk, but I literally had my surgery 5 days ago. Today is Tuesday, so that was Thursday. Yeah, so in just 5 days, I feel great. I'm not on any pain medication. I'm not on, my doctor didn't give me, the surgeon didn't give me any antibiotics. I'm healing very well. Yesterday they took the tape off. The incision is about this big. I'll let the camera come in closer. The incision is right here. It's very smooth, very clean line. It's healing very well. And yeah, it's great. I'm only taking Tylenol 650, and that's it. So it's been very mild, very minimal pain. It's been very easily tolerable. I've slept very well, and it's going great. But I really wanted to get this video out there because even though the mass was not cancerous, something like this could have been cancerous in somebody else. And then again, you know, even when somebody asks you, should I take HGH? What are the side effects? Is my bones gonna grow? Is my cancer gonna grow? Is my brain gonna grow? Or my hand's gonna grow? You know, the thing is that there really is no true way of knowing what is going to grow and if this is going to inhibit the multiplication of the numerous cancer cells in the body. You really don't know. What I do know is if you abuse the amount and you abuse the dose that you should be taking, then you will increase your risk of something negatively happening to you pertaining to your health in that aspect. So I did, however, ask her just to be sure from her medicinal point of view, from a medical point of view, if me taking HGH could have caused this. And she said, absolutely not, especially the amount that I took. I only took 1 unit a day. Very responsible dose, very responsible dose. She says there's not enough studies to actually prove that this was caused by growth hormone. There's not enough evidence, there's not enough research. So I'm glad that that's from a clinical point of view. But in my personal opinion, I'm not saying that it was growth hormone, but I've taken all kinds of peptides. The most recent BPC following CJC. I've also taken ipamorelin. I've also taken IGF-1, which is a very fast, pulsing, very fast peptide. And then I've also taken growth. So in my opinion, when I was competing 3 years ago, between 3 and 5 years ago is when I think this actually started growing, started waking up, is when I started using the IGF. This is what makes complete sense to me. And I'm not that I want to blame it on that, but all I know is that I'm putting everything together, and I really do think that it was some sort of a peptide, not even growth really, but maybe the IGF, because it's so strong, it's so effective, but it's also quite dangerous, which is why people shouldn't take it for more than 2 or 3 months. It's just very dangerous. It's very fast pulsing, which is why it has a lot of effects. So I am actually now being completely honest and transparent. I'm actually literally terrified of taking another peptide. I'm actually terrified of getting back on ipamorelin. I'm terrified of getting back on growth. Of course, I don't need IGF anymore because I'm not competing. But I'm literally scared to take another peptide. Just because I don't want anything growing on the left side. So now this left side of my thyroid has to do double duty, which is gonna be fine. So hopefully I won't need T3 medication. If I do, I just take it, whatever, it is what it is. But I think my body is gonna step it up a notch. It's gonna step up to bat, and it's gonna start producing the extra T3 and T4 from the TSH, from the pituitary, which is your thyroid secreting hormone. And I think it's gonna secrete just fine. We just gotta send this guy a signal that he's gonna have to bump it up a notch. And I don't think there's gonna be a problem, but I just wanted to get this video out there because there are things that we do to our body that could put us at a risk of something growing and something cancerous growing in our body. And luckily mine wasn't cancerous, but you really never know. What if I would have done IGF for 6 months straight? What if it would have arose more cancer cells to awaken and multiply more cancer cells? You know, you really don't know. That's why all this is quite dangerous. That's why you have to be very respectful and be very responsible in the doses that you do. I'm gonna be making another video here shortly in the next few days about someone that I just spoke to over the phone that wanted to take an exceedingly amount of growth hormone and gear that towards women. So we're gonna get into that topic later. But this is just a video that I want to get out there about me being transparent about my surgery that I just had, and I wanted to wait a few days until I was actually able to talk again without it really bothering me. But you know, it was kind of scary at first, but luckily, you know, I'm very positive and I'm very optimistic. Nothing's gonna happen. It wasn't even cancerous, blah, blah, blah. The surgery was a breeze. I came out of recovery with flying colors, already eating crackers like in my throat and apple juice like nothing, like it wasn't even bothering me. So, you know, everything happened very smoothly. I had a very good surgeon, and, you know, everything came out great. She is fantastic. And that's that. So I just want to get that out there about what happened to me, about thyroids and things growing and masses growing in your body. And literally, even if you don't cycle and if you don't take peptides, masses could literally grow inside anybody's body. They can just pop up anywhere. And that's what she assured me also, that literally they can just pop up anywhere. A person just doesn't have to be on anabolics or a bodybuilder or taking peptides. It can literally masses can just grow inside of us. So this is another reason why it is imperative that you get your labs done, that you get your body checked, because you want to check these things. That's the end of the video. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. If you did find it informative, if you learned something and you really liked my content and liked how I shared a personal experience in my life, then hit the like button now, subscribe, and share. And please leave a comment so you can help the algo. I really love to communicate, and I really love to interact with everyone and all my fans. Also, big announcement. members only, the members club. The members club is coming. I have just now put together a few pieces, a few photos, and a training video. The leg video is going to be first, and also a cooking video so you can see what I do, how I make my snacks, my treats, and then just cook my food. So everything will be coming up, but I wanted to get a little bit of data in there so that when people did subscribe to the members only club, that they went in there and they had something to see. So that'll be coming up soon. I finally put it together. So everyone, please join. I have 2 different types of the clubs. I have the first club 1 and then club 2. So you can decide which one you want to do. I mean, one is $2.99 and one is $5.99. So that's less than a pizza. It's actually less than a Starbucks large Frappuccino. So you can actually get the exclusive and see how I do, what I train, my entire training session, special videos, special emojis, special cooking, and special things that I'm doing around the house or just around my day, throughout Miami, throughout my life, privately, that I don't normally share on the channel. So you can get basically an inside view of my life. So everyone, have a great week, and we will see you soon.